It's been 2 whole months. Nearly 2 months. Whoa. I've forgotten how to do any of this.
We're melting.
We're gone. We put a message out to the patron and said what was going on and that we had to go on a forced break. Didn't put anything out for anyone else.
Probably a bad decision in hindsight, but
we've just gone completely rogue for the best part of 2 months. What happened is I moved house twice. Me and Steph had to move with her folks whilst we were waiting for a house that we were buying to complete. So moved all of our shit, and then a month after moving, our house then completed. So then we've had to then move everything back in the interim, trying to get a podcast out for trying to get that around everything was impossible. So yeah, we went on a hiatus, and it's been awful because all I've done is just watch the statistics just go down. It's just non-existent because we've gone fucking AWOL. But we're back.
The true fans stay with us.
They do. We're back with an absolute boom, and there's been so much gaming news that I can't even fathom any of it. I don't know what the fuck's happened.
There's been so much that I can't remember anything.
It's terrible, isn't it? It's really, really bad. So this is it.
I imagine you've done nothing. We've done no gaming apart from a bit of WoW every now and again.
Yeah, literally, we moved with Steph's mum, and I didn't bring my PlayStation. That went to her sister's just to get it out of the way, and then I set my laptop up, and just didn't have the time, man. Just have not had the time to engage in fucking anything because I've just been so busy. So I think the last bit of gaming news where I was like mega excited and couldn't wait to talk about it on the pod was the fucking Switch 2 announcement. If you've been listening to this podcast since the beginning, there's multiple episodes where we fucking whinged about there not being a Switch 2. And then it gets fucking revealed and we ain't here. We're not present for it. So that was about it. But I know that there's a shitload more that's gone on. I've been busy. I won't lie.
I'm just going through my last played games so I can get some grasp.
Well, you've been fucking banging Kingdom Come Deliverance,
Oh, yeah, I'll get to that. Fuck me. I played Mafia Definitive Edition.
Mm-hmm.
You ever played them?
No.
Well, I just going through my library. You know when you're just bored as fuck, and you just I don't want to play anything, but I want to play something.
Yeah.
So going through my library, and that was on there, like available to download. I don't think I've bought it. I think it's just a PlayStation Plus thing.
Yeah.
Because I'd played the second one. I'd never played the first one. And it was like definitive edition, so it had been like remastered, remade, whatnot. So I downloaded that kind of on a whim, really. Just thought I'd just have a little go and see if I fancied it. I fucking loved it, man. I blitzed that game in like 4 or 5 nights, bro.
What was that, like a GTA type?
Yeah, it's GTA, but it's like it's more
Mafia.
like it's more linear than GTA. So
Yeah.
there is times where you can just like fuck about, but it's more like you're in it for the story.
Yeah.
And you have to go like the speed limit when the old bill or about, or they'll pull you over, give you a ticket and shit. Or you can shoot them if you want.
Yeah.
But it's fucking really good, mate. Really, really good. So after I finished Mafia, then I re-downloaded Mafia 2, which I had already played. Not for years though. And I was working my way through that, and then obviously I was just waiting for KCD, Kingdom Come Deliverance, to come out really. And then that come out, and then everything else has just died to me.
Days Gone 2 is not coming.
No.
What that will sound like in the podcast is that we've edited that. Go and cut straight to something else. But we do no editing here, all right? No. We haven't changed. All right, we've been gone, but we ain't changed fuck all.
Still lazy cunts.
But Days Gone Remaster was probably the highlight of my holiday. I hate it.
It pisses me off, man.
I hate it so much.
There's no
I'm
need
fuming.
for it, bro. There's no
It's a
need
fucking
for it.
cash grab. It's just like The Last of Us, but it's just like The Last of Us, but I feel like it's even more of a kick in the bollocks because of how many people are screaming for Days Gone 2. And you've gone, no, we're going to put those resources into remastering a game that already looks really good.
Yeah, it looks great as well.
What's the fuck? But they did that with The Last of Us Part 2 remaster, they look exactly the fucking same side by side. They look exactly the same. So you're gonna. I mean, there's a part of me that's wishful thinking. So you got Amazon ringing you again. You want me to pause it?
It's my wife.
Right, carry on.
You were talking.
Was I?
About Days Gone.
What was it? Cash grab.
Yeah, bullshit.
Bing bang bong. Because it's same shit as The Last of Us. It's a tenner. But what because I was chatting to Mark about it at work, and he's pretty sure that you have to own the game. Now, bear with me. Own the game in a sense of not through PlayStation Plus. You have to own the game as in you had to have purchased said game to then pay the tenner to upgrade the game. So, in other words, if I wanted to have the remastered version of Days Gone, I've got to pay for Days Gone and then pay for the remaster because the PlayStation Plus collection thing doesn't allow that, which I think is fantastic. I think that's really nice. What a fucking... There's a part of me that's wishful thinking in that, is it them trying to test the waters to see if there is a reason to go and make Days Gone 2, or is it just how Sony have been for the last couple of years and just trying to get some fucking money?
Well, I am hopeful that it is a sequel tester, but they've said so many times that they're not going to do it. The people that did make it have disbanded. So
yeah, but then fucking bring them back together. They probably disbanded because Sony turned around and said, "Yeah, we're not letting you do number 2."
I think it was a guy called John Garvin, and he left basically. I think he's quite an outspoken person anyway, and he's basically said, "Fuck yous."
Yeah,
because the game was so good. It's one of them where critics received it poorly, but players loved it.
But I genuinely cannot understand how that was reviewed poorly.
I can tell you straight away why it was reviewed poorly, because it was people, I think, might not be this one, but I'm 98% sure it was after Red Dead Redemption 2. So people were just comparing it to like the pinnacle of fucking gaming.
Here we go. Why did it get bad reviews? Why are the reviews so bad? This was 5 years ago on Reddit. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think Days Gone got the short end of the stick. A lot of people are sick of open world games, and there's still zombie fatigue from last gen. And they wanted to let people know we want something new and less formulaic. I don't know what it is. And reviewers used this game to bash harder because it wouldn't be as popular as Spider-Man, Assassin's Creed, and other popular open world games. Yeah, I really don't get the bad reviews. This game is great so far. About 7 hours in, it's very tense. Like I said when I played it, I stayed true to exactly what I said. It is quite possibly the best post-apocalyptic zombie game I have ever played, and I would scarcely put it above The Last of Us if you're looking at it from an open world zombie orientated game. I think Days Gone pits that, but if you're looking at it from a purely story side, then The Last of Us is at the top. It's really difficult.
Gameplay wise, Days Gone is much better.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not playing Last of Us for a gameplay. You're playing it for a story alone. The gameplay's good, but nowhere near as, it's not as dynamic. Days Gone's dynamic.
Yeah, Days Gone feels very good, very, very, very good. And then the horde mechanic with the zombies as well feels as it should. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel fake. It's very, very, very good. Where I feel like that horde aspect is missing from a lot of games where they would really benefit from that style of enemy.
You just played Days Gone, and then they do that. Another game you played recently was Shadow of War or Shadow of Mordor, and now they've just died.
Yep.
So goodbye, Nemesis system forever. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for locking that away.
One of the best systems
for everything
ever created is gone.
Well, yeah, but it's Sony that owns that.
Warner Brothers, no?
I thought it was Sony that patented it.
No, it's Warner Brothers that patented it, but then the company that made Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor games have now died. I don't know who owns that specifically. Is it still Warner Brothers? I don't know. It confuses me.
Right, I can't understand from a business point of view, in terms of gaming, you want to make as much money as fucking possible. Yeah, that's the agreed assumption. So why, if people are screaming, if the gaming community is screaming for a certain thing, and everyone's screaming for it, well, surely that would result in money. So why would you not do it, especially when you're in a gaming lull? Because Sony's not really coming out with a fucking whole lot at the moment. Just remaster after remaster after remaster, and you think, well, what the? I feel like the whole opinion and attitude towards gaming at the moment is severe distrust in companies and developers and things like that, because how many times in the last 3 or 4 years we as gamers have been burned, essentially.
I know the answer to all these questions. All right, I'll tell you why.
Go on.
Concord, Dragon Age, Valguard,
Yep.
Avowed, the most recent one.
Yeah.
All these games, right? What are they doing? They are pandering to an audience that doesn't exist. The audience they are pandering to are all the people on Twitter.
Yeah.
They're not pandering to gamers.
Mm.
They're going, look at us with our virtue signal flag. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. Look how fantastic we are. And then when the game doesn't sell, they go,
You wonder why.
hold on, why is no one buying it?
Yeah, you've gone too far.
And then if I buy it, right, this is the only way I can describe it, right? So Avowed, yeah? Made by Obsidian, the people that made Fallout New Vegas.
And Outer Worlds.
Bethesda used to be my favourite studio, right? So it's Fallout. It's basically Fallout.
I was very excited for Avowed until I saw it.
So was I. So they've made that, right? And then a lot of people, I haven't played it because I'm looking at it going, that looks not for me. That looks shit.
Yeah, it don't look good.
Right? But all the people that are complaining, saying, this is crap, why is it like this, X, Y, and Z, why is Skyrim better, why is Oblivion better? All the people that defend it say, it's not made for you. Well, then who is it made for? Because if I'm supposed to know that an RPG made by the same people that made one of the best RPGs ever made in a fantasy setting, which is my favourite setting, with swords and magic and dragons and whatever else, isn't for me, then what's your target audience? Who are you aiming this shit at? Because I've seen side-by-side comparisons compared to Oblivion. This is even before Skyrim. You can't attack animals. You can't attack like humans. You can't. Everyone in town just stays still. Like if you pass time,
they
all just stand still. You fire an arrow in the air, it don't come back down. There's no water physics. Like everything's just shocking.
It's almost like you, because I really liked Outer Worlds. I'm a big fan of that, and obviously made by Obsidian as well. And I know that if you're comparing that to the likes of Fallout, then Fallout always wins. But I felt that Outer Worlds had a really cool artistic style, and like I say, really fucking enjoyed it. And it was always perceived as the lesser of that entire genre. So you'd think that even though it was still pretty successful, that Obsidian making Avowed would learn from previous mistakes and build upon what they had was already a decent game, and then make something that's very similar but even better, and then hype it up, people get excited for it, and then it releases and you see the gameplay of it and you just think this is in the year that we are in and the capability of gaming as a whole. You look at it and you think that's not what I want is achievable now, so I'm going to ask for it, like the physics of jumping into water. I don't want to jump into water and then all of a sudden the screen just flashes blue and then boom, I'm underwater. I want a little bit more pizzazz to that, and even just swimming, like, you know what I mean? Or like you say, being able to attack animals, and if you're going to fucking sift through time because you're saving the game or whatever, then fucking let the background run round. You know, like they're little things where 10 years ago you're asking for the world, whereas in 2025 that's not even a standard. That's just basics at that point.
It's bare minimum.
Yeah.
Like, there people are kiting enemies into like settlements and to other guards, and now the guards don't pay any attention to the enemies you're fighting. I mean, and this is old as time, and this is the problem. People are saying, well, the game's not meant for you. Well, it is, because it's exactly what I want. I want a fantasy blah blah. All fantasy games I want, but then they're complaining it's not for me, but then complaining that it's not selling well. Well, I'm not going to buy it. So what's it for? Who's buying it then?
It's a weird one because you've also got Outer Worlds 2 that is coming out this year. So it begs the question of like, well, I know they're not the same game, but they're fucking similar. So it's almost like, well, you're trying to, you see what I mean?
That's why I didn't like Outer Worlds 1. I found it too basic, too bare bones. But as I say, I'm comparing that to Fallout New Vegas. Like even in Fallout New Vegas, you could pick stuff up. It's like the world's not interactable like in Avowed, and much like the Outer Worlds, it was very basic. And I get that was their first big game since like Fallout New Vegas, so it was like exciting. And I didn't necessarily think Outer Worlds was a bad game. It wasn't enough of what I wanted.
Yeah, it almost like cock teased you, and then never actually let you fucking finish. It was almost very good, and then just fucking tilted to the edge. It was I mean, like I say, I sit in the camp where I really liked it, but if you're gonna throw comparison to New Vegas or just Fallout as a whole, then it falls short of that.
But I just don't see how can you make Fallout New Vegas and then make the Outer Worlds or Avowed? Like they're so similar, but yet it's like all they've done is take away. They've made it pretty because it looks great.
It does look good, yeah.
They've made it very pretty and then just removed everything from the game.
But I don't understand, and I haven't thought about it at all until this conversation. Why you would make Avowed and Outer Worlds 2? Well, make one or the other because
I didn't know Outer Worlds 2 was coming out this year, but I can tell you for damn sure that's getting delayed if it is.
Of course it's getting delayed, but it's got an initial for 2025.
They
but
are
I just
going to be panicking after this because Avowed has flopped. But the thing is, we don't want them to flop. I want these games to be great. I don't care how long it takes. Just make the game good. I don't care how long it takes. I know it costs money and rah rah rah, but if it's not ready, if it's undercooked, don't put it out, man. Be better off scrapping it because all they're doing each time is tarnishing their own reputation, and these reputations get built up. And once you've lost the trust of players, it's very hard to get it back.
I think what you have is I saw it the other day in regards to World of Warcraft, in that the latest patch has just released on Wednesday. New raid, new zone, new Mythic Plus rotation, new dungeon, blah, blah, blah. And that all comes out next week, but we're in the new zone and blah, blah, blah. And it's all goblins, right? It's all goblins, engineers, mechanical, all this like shit, and it's called Undermine. And when it first got announced, everyone was like, well, no one's really fucking asked for that. And I read a thing on Reddit, and it was a person saying that developers know what they're doing 99% of the time. They do know the audience, especially when it's Blizzard, because they've been making the same game for fucking years and years and years. And this person said that it isn't always right to do what everyone wants. And I feel like that rings true. Because like this person said, he was like, if Blizzard did what everyone was fucking calling for, you'd be on your 11th expansion and it'd all be fucking elves. Because that's all anyone cares about. Which isn't good for the game and what, in the grand scheme of things, everyone would want. So there's times when it benefits you to not listen to your audience as a developer because you know the game better than anyone else and you're the one that's fucking making it. So you sort of, when it comes down to it, it's the bare bones. You are steering that ship, regardless of what anyone else says. But I just think that so many games now have come out where no one's asking for it, or the input that people are putting in isn't actually finding its way into the games, where you think, is it maybe time now to kind of listen to what people are saying? Because there's been a lot of fucking games that have, a lot of heavy hitting games that have flopped. Concord I put as the biggest one. That was meant to be a flagship there. That was meant to be a big time exclusive and just fucking died.
But the only reason that's died harder than say Avowed and Valguard, the only reason
Mm.
is because it was an online game.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
had to die because they couldn't support a game that was having 300 players or whatever it was.
Yeah, you can't do
Do
it.
you know what I mean? Whereas if Dragon Age Valguard, make no mistake, if Valguard and Avowed were online multiplayer games, they'd be dead as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that a lot of it comes down to the simple fact of this virtue signalling nonsense, because it's all it is. They're putting modern day politics in medieval fantasy games.
Yeah, it's getting too much.
We play games to get away from all this crap.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need all that in there. You're making everything purple and vibrant, and like the trailer for Avowed was dark, gritty skeletons, fantasy, and now you look at it and it's bright, fluorescent pink, purple mushroom heads.
Big, massive, colourful.
And the people that I read yesterday, the people that made that trailer for Avowed didn't have any gameplay to work with or any idea of what the game was. They just said make a fantasy trailer, and they made that. There's nothing to do with what the game is, no art direction. So that's why people are like, oh, that looks sick.
Yeah.
Like me. Yeah, that looks great. And then the more I saw leading up, I was like, this doesn't look like what it looks like the Outer Worlds, kind of. Do you know what I mean? Very colourful and vibrant. But I like, personal preference. I like dark fantasy.
But go on.
But I still would have played it if it was good.
Yeah. But colourful and vibrant is absolutely fine because you're making Outer Worlds 2. So if you don't want to play colourful and vibrant, that's fine because Avowed's there. Similar sort of game, but this is your dark, gritty version of that. This is what you want, but that's not what you've got. You've got a carbon copy of very, very similar. I don't understand where that comes from, man. I really don't get it.
I've got no problem with purples and pinks, and you make it as colourful as you want, because if the game's good, I'm going to play it. There's plenty of games that I've played where I don't like the art style. I like pixel art, but not everybody does. But if the game's good, people are going to play it. Vampire Survivors. You know what I mean? I'm not like, oh, this looks amazing, but the gameplay's great. If the gameplay's good, you kind of ignore all the rest. But if the gameplay's not good and the story's bleh, like Dragon Age Valguard, too many modern day politics with the pronouns and all that nonsense in there, and then you get a very basic spoon-fed story that's like, that's a dock. A dock is where ships come. It's like, your audience is surely the people that played the original Dragon Age. So we're all in our 30s, 40s, late 20s, whatever. We don't need that spoon-fed nonsense.
Yeah, give me a decent story.
Give us a story, man, and keep the modern-day politics out of it. All them arguments can be had out of video games. We want fantasy games with dragons and whatever else. You don't need that crap in there. And unfortunately, all this stuff is the reason the games are not doing well. And it's a shame, because Dragon Age is a fantastic series. I was so excited for Dragon Age. And you better believe I'm going to play it now. It's free 3 months after it's released.
Yeah, which is crazy. That
Mental.
Says everything that you need to know, really.
I saw it, the screenshot I sent you. I saw it on Twitter. I went, oh, Valguard's kind of PlayStation Plus. Carried on, thinking, oh, it's going to be like the premium tier. No, that shit's coming to the most basic tier. Like the cheapest tier.
Like the £6.99 a month kind of tier.
Yeah, that's not going to the catalogue. That is going to the cheap PlayStation Plus. Download it and keep it forever, jobby. And it's like, man, that's if that doesn't say that that's failed, and BioWare's it's dead now. BioWare's dead. Obsidian are going to be struggling, and it's a shame, because BioWare and Obsidian, if you'd asked me 5 years ago, they would have been in my top 10 favourite developers, and now they're putting out Tosh.
Yeah.
It's sad, man. I don't want it to happen, but that is what's happening.
Yeah, it's cutthroat, because spin it to a lighter side, or a different game entirely. Elden Ring, fucking blah 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 blah. Night Rain. Thoughts? We've got 2 months here to fucking cover in this. Fan, not a fan.
I am a fan.
Difficult to take, isn't it?
But I'm not a fan, because it's just going to be a weird. Like, one thing that FromSoft are not good with is like netcode, bro. Their multiplayer is never been up to snuff. So that's a big test for them in the first place. Second test is, like, I think if I played it with like you and I don't know, Connor or something, it'd be good. But if I'm matchmaking, I'm going to get the ump.
It's going to be a rough one, man.
Because you don't know who you're matchmaking with. And you're going to get the ump with each other. And my biggest concern is I don't know what the gameplay loop is. I know what the gameplay loop is because I've watched it, but I don't know what the reason is. Do you know what I mean? So we're going to be dropping in, smashing shit up, trying to survive the 3 days, kill the final boss, whatever. Cool. Then when you do it,
what happens then?
What makes you want to do it again?
Do I go back in the spaceship and then drop back down like fucking Helldivers? What's happening?
Yeah, it's Fortnite, man. But what makes you want to do it again? Like, are you unlocking new cosmetics? Are you unlocking new stuff? Are they going to put out new characters?
Because it's preset classes, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
which I like, because random loot. Oh, I've got the fucking blood.
Yeah, I like it and don't like it. At first, I didn't like the idea of it because I was like, well, fucking Elden Ring's all about making your own class and fucking around with different builds, and then you're going to take that away. And then when I thought about it more and more, and I was like, no, actually, no, it is fucking decent, because you're trying to make this a solely multiplayer matchmaking game. It must be a fucking nightmare, or it just wouldn't work full stop if everyone had the complete freedom that you do in Elden Ring. So, or any Soulsborne game for that matter. So, yeah, I'm a massive fan of it being preset classes, loot, shit like that. We didn't see enough of it to really understand what was going on.
I've watched a lot. There's been a lot of people playing it.
Because I thought it was just DLC.
No,
it's not a standalone.
It's a 30 quid game though. It's not.
Yeah.
But so basically, you drop in on your Eagles, and then you have to kill a boss.
Yeah.
Each day, but you can run around you open a map. There's like little points to the map where you can go and kill like mini bosses. Essentially, you get runes, whatever you call them. Run to a bonfire, and it'll automatically level you up. You don't need to manually do it or anything like that. And then you just find loot. It's like a roguelike, man. You find loot. You don't know what loot you might find. You know, the Yuchi katana or the katana that fires the blood. You know, you find that you're laughing. But you also find in spells and all sorts of stuff. So every run will be different. But at the end of that day, then you have to do it again and then until you fight the final boss. What's cool for people like me is it's got bosses from like the old Dark Souls games and stuff like that. So I'd be like, oh mate, it's got the Nameless King and stuff in there. So that's cool. But what I want to know is what makes me want to do it again. Because once I've done it, sweet, I've done it. Now what?
Which is exactly what we encountered when we played Remnant 2.
Mm-hmm.
Same sort of style, where you have preset builds that you can customize and stuff like that. Entering into a world where you're fighting your way through numerous bosses until you get to the final main boss.
And then you give up.
Kill that, finish the level, and then go into the next level. And carry on. I know that Remnant 2's had a load of DLCs, and there's probably way more shit on it now than when we last played it. But at the time when we played it, that is exactly what happened. I killed the last boss, and then put it down because like I'm done now. I've done my bit. Great game, really good game, but I'm done. Thank you very much. See you later. Game. So it's like, is that going to be the same sort of thing? Really difficult to tell. I think it's very unique, and it's nice to see From Software heading into that, because you do have to think, well, what sort of direction are we going into after something like Elden Ring? We go, well, fucking hell, it's going to be tough to top that. So going into a purely multiplayer aspect for a lower price bracket, I think is a very, very smart move. It's very smart.
Yeah, it's smart to do that. I mean, I just hope they build the franchise. I want it to be, because they're talking about Elden Ring film or series or whatnot. But Elden Ring 2 has to happen. It has to. But Miyazaki doesn't seem like, he just does what he wants.
Yeah.
He's a proper G.
Yeah.
It's like Baldur's Gate, man. You're leaving all that money on the table, bro.
Yeah, because you just fucking made a load, millions and millions, by what you've just fucking done. It's almost artistic. You go, I've done this for the love of the game and have made a shit ton of money off of it. But I'm gonna do this again if I want to.
Yeah, it's great.
If I want to do it again, not because of the money, and it works. I can't wait for Light No Fire.
Yeah, me too.
I haven't seen a lot on that, but
it's because they haven't fucking shown anything.
I know.
Else. You know why? Because they just released a massive update for No Man's Sky again. Like huge, one of the biggest ones I've ever done.
Yeah.
Mad stuff on that shit, bro. You should watch the trailer. If you haven't seen it, that shit's mad.
Mm.
But a lot of people think No Man's Sky is the testing ground. So all these features they put in. Obviously, I know it's in space, but
yeah, but it
technology,
correlates to yeah.
all like the water physics and the wind and all these different
Yeah, the
things.
water physics look fucking sick now, don't they?
Exactly. So you
Really
imagine
fucking cool, and the weather dynamics, really cool shit.
Can you imagine that all on a Earth-sized planet, like that's going to be multiplayer, but it's actually like Earth. So you want to go and attack so and so, but he lives in Spain.
Yeah.
Get to Spain, dickhead.
Yeah.
Fly there. You know what I mean? It's gonna be sick. But speaking of like Baldur's Gate, obviously, 'cause it's the best game ever made. They are the prime example. So Baldur's Gate, aka Larian Studios and Warhorse Studios, who made Kingdom Come Deliverance, just two of them. Not AAA studios. Now they are. Not AAA studios making games that put everything else to shame. So Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 was a Kickstarter game. So obviously raised money for it. They made it. And I always liked Kingdom Come Deliverance, but it's just it had a lot of jank and it was annoying. Sometimes it was just really annoying. Before KCD 2 come out, I forced myself to finish it. And when I say forced, I mean like I was fast travelling. I was beelining the story. Not because I wasn't enjoying it, but I just wanted to. I didn't want to watch a YouTube video. I wanted to actually do it myself. And then when KCD 2 come out, that game is probably the best sequel ever made. I can't see a game that has ever like lifted everything up and improved it to the point that it's. I can't believe they're the same company, right? And bearing in mind how much money they spent on KCD 2 to what all these other companies that are putting out this absolute dross are putting. I want to know where their money's going, bro. I want to know where their money's going. I mean it. I want to know where their money's going. Because how are you putting out that shit when Kingdom Come Deliverance is putting out that? I want to know. I really want to know. And they're not afraid to do...
It costs $36.5 million US, which is in terms
Pathetic.
of gaming not a lot.
That can't be right. It must have cost more than that. That's pathetic. That is pathetic amount of money. But
and then Avowed had a budget roughly between 70 to 80 million.
Right, so double. Where is it? What is the shit you've put out? What is the shit you've put out, man? I don't understand. What's Veilguard? Veilguard, then Concord, please.
I think Concord was expensive, man. Let me have a look. Is that going to do... the budget for this was over $250 million.
Veilguard.
For Veilguard.
Where is it?
And then what did you want? Concord.
Yeah.
Concord game budget. Let's have a look.
500 million,
So the game was in development for around 8 years, according to video game podcast host Colin Moriarty, citing an unnamed Concord developer. The game had development costs of $400 million, although this figure was disputed by several PlayStation developers on social media. So don't take that as gospel, but you know that it will probably be around the 300 to 400. That's so much money for a game.
So I need
That's
to say it again.
so much money.
Where is it?
Well, it's in the bin.
This is what I mean. Where's
It's in
this
the
money
bin.
going?
Imagine you're a company that's got like, we've just spent $400 million on this. This is going to blow people's fucking minds. And then what was it? 2 weeks?
Bro,
Most expensive 2 weeks you could ever have.
I know you're never going to play it, and I wouldn't put you to play it because I don't think it's your kind of thing. But I wish you could see what Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 offers and compare it to what this other shit is doing. And then you will say, where is it? Because how Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 have made that on that budget when obviously, you know, that's just a massive number we can't really comprehend. But if you're comparing it to other budgets, you're saying, where's that money going? What are you doing with it?
So Kingdom Come Deliverance, what, come out 6 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Around 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
36.5 million approximately was the budget for that game. Would you like to know how much Kingdom Come Deliverance 2's budget was?
Mm-hmm.
40 million.
In
6 years you've gone up.
How have they done that magic then?
Gone up by what is that, 3.8 million?
Because they are unrecognisable, gameplay wise, visual wise, performance. length.
What makes it so good? Because a lot of people in the guild are playing it, and I've seen a fair bit of gameplay. What is it? It doesn't look like my cup of tea, personally. I don't think I've got the patience, but I don't understand what it is.
It's the most immersive game I've ever played.
Yeah, that's the bit that puts me off. I saw that video you put up on the Instagram of you being knocked over by a shelf.
Yeah,
I don't want that.
I didn't know that could happen. I had no idea. I was just riding and I fell off. I was like, what the fuck has happened?
Yeah.
It weren't until I saved it, watched it back. I was like, I ran into that. I had no idea. It's just I can't explain it. All right, I'll give you a story like I gave to.
Go on.
I gave to the guys at work. So I was looking for a guy. I spoke to this woman. She was having an affair with this guy, right? So.
Oh, this is in the game.
Yeah. She was having an affair with this guy, like some foreign Polish guy, I think he was. And her husband found out. He was fuming, so he took a couple of the lads, beat him up a little bit, took him up to a tree to hang him.
Yeah.
Right, so I was like, all right, I'm going to go and save this geezer because we need him. She was like, don't hurt my husband. I was like, yeah, I'll try not to. Went up there. Then this is all RPG stuff as well. So you're like doing skill checks, trying to like, oh, I'll try and say this to them, but it might fail and then it'll backfire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I found out where, and by doing that, say, I can't remember the exact scenario, so I might say, oh, where's your husband? Or I heard you're having an affair, blah, blah. If I fail that skill check, it could mean I have to find them myself. I have to go around the town and look for other clues. I could kill her, might have a note on her, or pickpocket her or something. I could follow her. Like, none of these things are things that are told to you. These are just things that you can think of, and they will work.
Yeah.
And that's all off a skill check. So failing a skill check might send you off to doing something else for hours.
So it's very like just open world. It's almost like Baldur's Gate,
so
but without
organic.
the fucking.
It's dynamic. It's so dynamic. Like, it's just crazy. So I then went up to the. Like, she told me where they was. I went up there. I freed this geezer. They had this geezer had a noose around his neck, and he was on a horse. And then there was like 4 or 5 guys there all shouting at him. Rah, rah. I tried to get him down, saying, look, I need him. Failed the skill check or whatever. Because it all matters how you're dressed as well. So there's different ways of speaking. You speak politely. You speak like viciously, aggressively, nicely. If you're dressed like a knight, they're going to see you more intimidating, have more respect for you. If you're dressed like a bit shit, they're not going to have the... And it depends what skill check you think. If you're dirty, if you're clean, all the things I know you hate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Meters, I don't like them. Get them away from me.
Yeah, so all them things. Anyway, they whip the horse. The horse runs away. He's dangling from the thing. And then I end up having to fight all these geezers. Now, I was punching them. I was punching them all up. And then I'm looking, I'm thinking, like, the game won't game over you. If something happens, it happens and the game carries on. Just changes the way you have to go on to the next part. So I'm thinking, shit, this geezer's been hanging from that tree for like 15 seconds or something. He's going to die. I haven't got time for this. So I pulled out my sword and killed every single one of them. Like, whoops.
Whoopsie daisy.
Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. But nevertheless, I get him down, rah. And that's it. That's the end of the mission. But just out of my own curiosity, I thought, I wonder what happens if I go back and talk to the wife. There's no marker. I just remembered where her house was. I went back to the house. They were a butcher's family. Had their own butchery and stuff. And I walked into the house. I shouldn't have been in there because it was after a certain time, and then it's like considered trespassing because it's like night time or whatever. But she was still up, so I lock picked the door, went in just to talk to her, and as I went in, she started screaming at me, "You murdered my husband, rah rah." So, but that was like, you would never have known that unless you went back to talk to her. So while I was trying to talk to her and I was trying to calm her down, like giving dialogue choices, I'm sorry, yeah, blah blah blah. This geezer's like walked into the back of the cutscene or whatever. Not the cutscene, but the dialogue thing. He's just shouting at me, "You shouldn't be in here. Get out, get out." Just fucking over and over again. I'm like, I can't concentrate. He's doing my head in.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, all right, I'll leave this conversation. So I turned around. He was like, "Get out of here." So I was like, all right. I left. I was so angry that he interrupted me trying to console this grieving widow that I had caused. I decided I was going to kill him. I hadn't killed anyone innocent in that game, really. So I waited in the sheds in the dark. I watched where he went. He went in the house, shut the door. I was like, "Oh, is he having it off with her then?" Is he? So I broke in again. like an hour later or something. Looked around. He was upstairs. So what a lot of people do in them days or in this game, which is historically accurate allegedly, a lot of people, they'd have like hired hands, like not slaves but people that they would use, and they'd live in like the rafters, so they'd climb up and sleep on hay bales and stuff like that. So I climbed the ladder. There he was sleeping. I'm a fucking idiot. So yeah, put my hand over his mouth, stabbed him in the chest. He's dead. Fuck you, piece of shit. Robbed his stuff. And then I've done a 180 turn around, and then down that ladder, across up another ladder, so directly opposite where he is, there's a woman sleeping there, and I was like, oh no, what have I done? That's probably his girlfriend or something. I felt terrible that I had killed this geezer.
Yeah.
Genuinely felt bad, so I went over there and killed her as well, just out of guilt, so she didn't wake up and see this murder scene.
Yeah.
I didn't want her boyfriend to be dead or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I went downstairs and I thought, well, I've killed the butcher's husband.
You might as well kill the butcher's wife.
I've killed the wife's husband.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've killed both her things.
Yeah, I might as well kill her.
I might as well kill her.
Yeah, you might as well.
So I saved her misery.
Yeah, yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, yeah. You saved.
It was a mercy.
Saved her a lot of aggro, to be
fair.
fair.
So I murdered her as well.
Mm.
And the only reason all that happened is because Geezer was trapping off behind me. and they'll do funerals for these people and stuff. And mate,
you could go to those funerals and everyone's like crying and sobbing, and you can stand at the back and you go, I've caused this, all of this.
You can dig graves up, people's dead bodies. You can dig them up.
Have a little look, have a taste.
But all that stuff, that organic stuff has just happened, is just on a whim that I decided to go and see if there was any dialogue. But that's just one scenario that is woven throughout the game in every single possible aspect that you could possibly imagine. It is absolutely mind blowing how a game's system is this immersive. I know Sam was not enjoying it, because I see him posted on Twitter. He was not impressed with the dog barking and all this stuff. But I know that he's done a complete 180.
Yeah, he said it on the Patreon.
He's enjoying it a little bit now.
I got a. It's not massively long, but it is someone that seems to have summed it up. They finished it 160 hours they've put into it, and they said it has many microscopic downsides in it, which is normal. Not all features are 100% appreciated by the wide public. Combat has been significantly improved, in my opinion. The new weapons were a welcome addition to an already expansive arsenal, and lastly, the CGIs were magnificent. Kingdom Come Deliverance as a franchise arrived into the world of disgusting waves of games that have no soul, and with a simple blacksmith apprentice made it all feel whole. I have not seen in the past 5 years a game that made me want to play it instead of work. A game that did not make me look for collectibles to get a useless outfit or buy a season pass to upgrade 10 levels of horsemanship. I do not feel like I had to do side quests. I did them because I was curious about the world and the people in it. The story, the emotions. So many games make it an absolute drag to do side content like it is actually a chore. Like, go open 12 tombs or you won't have dinner, Timmy. The world actually felt alive. Some things were repetitive, sure, but they were not forced upon you. You, the player, have the power of choice, actual meaningful choices. That was so refreshing. No more choose option A or B, but the outcome will be the same. So many good points, features, characters and emotions that destroyed gaming for me, at least for the time being. There's only a little bit left. As I ventured with Henry, I experienced several games at once. The awe of the Witcher saga, the thrill of the battles from Elder Scrolls and older Dragon Age games, the level up of Souls-like games. There was a ladder and I climbed it with an open heart. I have played several games before Kingdom Come Deliverance Saga, and I have never felt complete. Last paragraph. A day ago, I finished the game with 160 hours played and tried to play new games such as Avowed, Dragon Age, Valguard, even went back to play Spider-Man 2, and they all failed in the things I mentioned above about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I am utterly disgusted by the state in which recent games have been done and released. I never really gave much attention to it. I just didn't play them. And paid no attention to the games. But after this experience, something rotten began to fill in my airways. The mediocrity of games after playing an exceptional one is clear as day. Imagine eating a magnificent lemon pie, then having to go back to eating a shitty one with half-baked dough made out of shit. That's how I feel. I don't think I can play other stuff for a while. And yeah, that's about it.
And that person has summed it up absolutely spot on. This game, as that person's just said, has completely and utterly opened my eyes to...
That was Responsible Sky 6733 on Reddit.
That person is bang on, because this game has opened my eyes to how have you done that with that money, and these companies are doing that with that money.
It's very impressive considering the budget difference between the first one and the second one is
and
4
not
million.
just that, right? It's sold phenomenally well. Right?
Yeah.
And this is a niche game. This is the definition of niche. This is like immersive sim medieval fantasy. There's no dragons and goblins in this. This is high, it's all on the accuracy of stuff, and this as well, right? Just look at that, right? This is that's Kingdom Come 1 script. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
700,000 words, that is. That's 71421. So the KCD 2 script is 3 times bigger than that.
Jesus Christ.
KCD script is now the world record holder for longest script in history.
Oh,
There's more words of dialogue in this game than all 7 Harry Potter books, the 3 Lord of the Ring books, and all 5 of the Hunger Game books combined.
Wow. Fuck me.
And let's just say, this is, and it's not just, the story's great, which it is, by the way. It's not like the side quests are great, which they are, by the way. It's not like it's all just slob. The game is phenomenal in every single aspect. Sure, some things are not perfect. Of course, there's going to be bugs. Of course, nothing's perfect, and there never will be that. But how have they done that with the budget when these other companies are putting out the dross?
And this is all on a setting that isn't boring by any means, but
Niche.
It's so basic. You think medieval times. Not only is that fucking saturated to fuck in terms of media, games, movies, programs, whatever, medieval times, but at the bare basics of it, you'd think, I'm going to make a game is about medieval times. You'd look at that, you go, well, that's going to be a bit fucking boring because you're not going to have dragons and shit flying around. But they've seemingly made a game that is absolutely incredible.
With all due respect as well, and I mean this might just be my ignorance, but not just that, but the point of history that they've chosen, Czech Republic, the invasion of Hungary, like, if you're going to do that, you'd think, they're going to do samurais, or they're going to do Vikings. They're going to do one of the ones that's like, not loved, but do you know what I mean? They're the people like
one of the good wars.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? But that's very niche.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, for me anyway, that might be my ignorance, but I knew nothing about any of this. King Wenceslas and Sigismund of Hungary, and all, I knew nothing about all this until this game, or KCD 1, should I say? And now I'm fully invested, and they have reaped the rewards. They are doing phenomenal. They've made so much money. I'm so happy for them. I bought the collector's edition, didn't I? So I was buzzing when that turned up.
They recouped. There's a good collector's edition as well.
Yeah, it's got a horse and Henry, and
they recouped their $40 million budget within 24 hours of launch.
I'm not surprised.
And someone commented at the bottom and said, and yet all we ever hear about is how it's impossible for developers to make a truly awesome game with a reasonable budget, and that half-finished games live service is required to make money. Well done, Warhouse, on showing. It's a typo. On showing 90% of developers how it's done, which again, it's another Baldur's Gate story, isn't it?
It's phenomenal, and there's going to be expansions that are coming, which I'm excited for.
Think about in the last 2 years or 3 years, the games that have really, really stood. We've always loved an indie game because it's an indie game. Everyone likes the underdogs. You always want to root for them, even if they're not doing the best, because they're trying in a world where, and that's with everything.
Innovation.
Gaming, football, like whatever. If the underdog has a chance of being decent, you fucking support them regardless. And in the last couple of years, the games that have really stood out are ones made by fucking indie developers.
Balatro.
Yep.
Yeah, Vampire Survivors.
Dave the Diver.
Baldur's Gate. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Like all these
There's a
games
big
are
old
getting
list.
nominated for games of the years, man.
Yep.
And you're putting out this
Hi-Fi
slop.
Rush.
There's no excuse. There's no excuse. I'm sorry. I've had enough.
Oh,
of
Hi-Fi Rush weren't indie at all. Sorry.
There's no excuse. It is just.
But I think what it all boils down to, at the heart of it, is indie developers. Probably like 90% of them are just gamers like you and I that have a deep passion for what they're creating. They haven't been gobbled up by the corporate world and seen as a fucking cash grab. You see that happen all the time with singers, with streamers, with podcasts. People who start with a passion and a vision, and then someone goes, "Oh, fucking hell, I can make some money off of this geezer," and then you let that poison settle into you, and all of a sudden you're doing what you're being told because that's what someone else thinks is going to make the most money, rather than you being the one that started that passion and owning it. And I think with indie developers, they just haven't been got a hold of yet, and I feel like that's why most of the games that have been really surprising and popular in the last couple of years have come from indie developers, is because there's a genuine love there. That's not saying that AAA studios and any other big budget games aren't made by people that love the games, because they are. But those bigger games have fucking big suits sitting above them that are fucking holding them under the thumb because they want fucking money so they can give it to their investors. And stock shares and all that other bollocks that comes with it, which ultimately is what drives a big part of the gaming world.
But this is the good thing, right? Look what's happening.
I know.
They're getting pushed back because all these games, like, this has never happened before.
No.
Or if it has, it hasn't been so widely known and spoken about. Avowed, Concord. I don't mean to shit on these games, but these are the only ones I can think of. Avowed,
but they are
Concord,
shit, and that's why they're not doing well.
Dragon Age
not there.
Vanguard. Like, there's a reason. Like, you've got gamers that love games. They're not doing it for any reason other than they're not good enough, right? They're not good enough. You can take all your woke and your virtual signaling out of this. The games inherently are not good enough. Compared, and they're getting exposed, as I just said with KCD and Baldur's Gate, for the budgets. You're getting exposed because people are going, well, hold on. How is this game performing like this and amazing, and yours is dross? Mm-hmm. Where's the money going? And that's what the investors should be asking. Mm-hmm. Where's the money?
And you have a lot of people now that are losing faith in those AAA studios. You look at Ubisoft. There's a lot of people, including myself, that had pre-ordered Assassin's Creed Shadows, that have now cancelled that because you start to see the gameplay and you think, I'm not necessarily falling for this again. Like and you watch any fucking Shadows trailer, it will be filled with comments of people saying, "Remember, don't pre-order. Do not pre-order this game. Let them fucking work for it. If the game's good, then it's good. It is what it is." And obviously, you're still going to get people that pre-order it, and fair enough, it's your money. You do whatever the fuck you want with it. But the majority of people are starting to pull away from that because the faith just isn't there. I used to look at Ubisoft when it come to Assassin's Creed and think, I trust you, have my money, I love the franchise, you're gonna smash it. Whereas now you look at it and you go, no, we'll see what's gonna come out on this, because I am more likely in the state that I am now of giving my money in terms of a pre-order to an indie developer than I am to a AAA.
Much better to back kickstart something, man.
100%.
You've got these games coming out that are putting AAA developers, quadruple A, who's according to Ubisoft, to shame, right? So these AAA companies are either going to have to innovate or die.
Yeah. And I think you will see some of them die. That.
Just like mainstream media, IGNs, GameSpots, all these. No, me personally, and I know a lot of other people, don't go to them no more.
No.
They go to yous, and not us, but they go to the average gamer that they watch, the YouTuber that they trust, because they have similar interests, and they go, I know you're not going to talk shit. Mm-hmm. And that's the bottom line. And then mainstream media in gaming is dying as well.
And what you also find is that the people that you do come to for reviews and things like that, you see a trend of the minute that a big company starts sponsoring that person, you watch their fucking viewership go down because a lot of people see that as a code. No, you've sold out at this point. Or if you're lucky enough, you still hold something about you and you maintain that audience. But it happens a hell of a lot. It would be. I feel like obviously this podcast isn't big, but it's something that we love and have been fucking eager to get back to, and we'll continue to build this. And like I said to you earlier over message, now that we have an actual hub in that this is in a home that I own, and we can tailor this to however the fuck we want to, give a real good crack at making it something big.
I think we've worked hard on this. I think we've done it consistently over time. You know, I'm not saying we did like loads of work in this day and that. We've been consistent for years now. You think the Star Wars celebration we went to, that's 2 years ago this year.
But
and we were already doing this then.
But if we suddenly got sponsored by, I don't know, you listen to this episode and at the beginning there's an advert for, I don't fucking know.
If we ask for an early review code of a game and we get it, I understand why people will be like, they've trusted us a month early with fucking, say, GTA 6. Or, you know, just for example, they're massive. I don't want to get on Rockstar's shit list. But I would never just lie. If it's shit, it's shit. Yeah, and I have to say it. And if it's the detriment, so be it. But we're not one to talk shit. We'll tell it how it is. And I don't think anything would ever change that. And we spoke to a company before about a review code, and we just missed the cut-off point. Otherwise, we would have had one. And there's something that we need to do more. We need to be more active on social media. We don't post enough on there. We don't do enough on Twitter. That's me. We don't do enough on Instagram. Well, I mean, it's all both of us really, but we need to do more to push it. But we are trying our best, and I think we do give a good account of ourselves, and we won't talk shit. So if
we're an indie podcast,
we're an indie podcast.
But that's the point that I'm trying to make, is that we do this because we love doing it, and we haven't entered into that world where someone is, other than the patron, which even then the patron's fucking our closest friends. That's where our revenue stream for this podcast comes from. But
we believe that shit's getting unpaused.
But we haven't entered the realms where someone that we don't know or a company that we don't know is paying us to produce something like with this podcast. And I feel like there's a period where you acknowledge that and enjoy that you're doing something because you love it, not because someone is fucking trying to make money out of you. And I feel like that is what comes through with a lot of these indie games, like you say with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Just from the fucking script alone, seeing that in its visual format, those people care about what they've put down on those pages, and it shines through on the reviews and the fucking revenue that they make. This is such a niche game that has made a shit ton of money, and with such a small budget. I wonder if I can find out how much it is actually.
That is critically acclaimed, that game. That is top whack of a game. You'll struggle to find a game as good as that. And it's an indie developer, man. If you can do it, why can't the companies that have endless resources do it?
Imagine imagine as a development team how successful you must feel if you've created a game with a $40 million budget, and then made it back in less than 24 hours when you've released. So you've hit the button to release that game, gone to bed, woken up, gone to work, and then by the time you've come home from work, all of that blood, sweat and tears that you poured into that game has just come back like that. All that money and some has just come back just in a day,
profit, baby.
Yeah, you just go, what the fuck, like what, like.
But it took them over a year to sell 1 million copies of KCD 1, and even selling 1 million of that was tough going.
Literally, man. I'm reading this right now from 11 days ago on Reddit. It took KCD 1 a year to sell 2 million units, and then it says Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has sold 2 million units in less than 2 weeks, and this was 11 days ago.
That's what I mean. So
I'd love to. Yeah, and the budget is rumoured to have been reasonable, a rarity in the age of 200 to 300 million games, million being spent on games, many of which aren't even that good. It's a change of it's a change of the times. I feel like gaming as a whole is shifting, and it probably will be a point where these indie developers do end up being the next AAA developers, because there will be quite a few of them, given the chance, that will want to get bigger. It's no difference to anything that you're running. If it's your own business, of course you want it to get bigger, and sometimes it would be stupid not to. So I feel like there is a power shift going on there, where the big developers are starting to get a bit fucking worried.
I think maybe it has to come down to, at some point, the size of the studio as well, right? So Baldur's Gate or Larian and Warhorse, they're small studios. So I imagine everybody knows each other. Everyone's checking in on each other. What are you doing? What are you doing? Whereas these big companies, EA and stuff like that, I imagine there's bits of the game you don't even know exist. Like there's someone over there that does the sound, someone over there that does, or hundreds, whole departments doing these things, and you're not even aware of their names, and you're not aware, for example, like motion capture. Oh, I'm doing a voice. Well, that voice sounds weird. Well, he done the voice, and then the motion capture was done a day after, and they don't even know what they were motion capturing. All these things, when it's a tight-knit studio and everyone's there, it's probably a good environment as well, because everyone's helping each other, rooting for each other.
And with the big ones, there'll be a lot of justification in pricing. No different to fucking anything. You think the industry that we work in, there's a shit ton of money being thrown away.
Oh, yeah.
There's fucking loads of exploitation going on in the industry we work in. Fucking loads. And it's the same with most fucking big industries. And gaming is not exempt from that. If you've got a budget of $400 million, you can guarantee there will be millions that are going to things that have no place being involved with the development of said game.
Where money is, there's corruption.
Of course there is. And that is where it starts to shine through.
$4 million on lighting, and the game's got no lighting. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that lighting payment for you, mate?
Yeah, you go, well, where the fuck's that come from? And it's nice. I like it. Sitting as being someone that is a consumer of the media rather than a creator of the media. So there is no risk for me other than spending 60 quid on a game and then it being shit. Which even then is minimal, because you just wait for trusted reviews. It's nice seeing it, because you go, right, well, the people that have been fucking us over for the last couple of years are starting to get fucked over themselves. Mm-hmm. Everything comes crashing down eventually. I feel like a lot of these companies, and I feel like Ubisoft is a big one, have got too big for their boots and used to the weight that they can throw around, and they're coming across developers that can throw a fucking decent punch.
About fucking time and all.
About fucking time. Anyway, we're back.
We're back, baby.
We're going to go and do the Patreon now.
And I'm going to piss before I piss myself.
Pissy. Thanks for sticking with us, everyone. We're back and wholesome every week. We're fucking back. I'm not moving again. I'm not doing this again. It was fucking awful. So you'll get one of these every single week, because I'm not fucking leaving this room.
I'm not fucking leaving.
See you later. Uru.
Uru.